Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back, man. It's been 18 long months, 18 long months of no hockey in the town of Meaford. The Meaford St. Vincent Community Center hasn't had ice in it, I don't think, until just the past month or so. But man, what a great feeling to have the Knights of Meaford hockey, junior hockey team of the GMHL back in action again. And I am so pleased to be back. I'm your host, Rob Leonard, and so happy to be back. And just can't wait to get back into the rink again and uh, get doing that play-by-play again, along with producer Mark Perry. And again, really super excited to see how this season works out for the Knights of Meaford. But again, fantastic to be back in action. So um, let's take a look. As I said, 18 months since the Knights of Meaford last played. That game was on February the 17th, 2020, and it was a playoff game that they played in South Muskoka, and that was the final game of the season for the Knights of Meaford. And so let's take a look. They've had two games so far this year. A new team, of course, with some familiar faces. I think one or two of the players are from that team, 18 months ago. But as it happens in junior hockey, players age out, not being on the ice for a year. Life has taken a different path for some of these guys. So let's start on Thursday night, the home opener, season opener for the Knights of Meaford. They were up against the South Muskoka Shield. They've had many battles with this team over the years, and that ended in a 6-5 shootout loss for the Knights of Meaford. Scoring in that game, Hayden Phillips had a single. Xavier Kaze also had a single. Now, later on in Meet the Knights, those two players are going to be my guests. So stick around, okay? We're going to be chatting to these two young men. Let's see, Jordan DeGao. Please forgive me if I don't get some of the names right, but I guarantee you by next week I'll have them down pat. Mathis Laguerre and Hugo Stelnacki. We'll have to check that one. All scored for Meaford in that game. Interestingly, the Knights came out in that second period and they scored 4 goals to open the floodgates. And we'll talk to the guys later on about that one. But they scored 4 goals in the second period. They led 5-3, but possibly let their foot off the gas in the third period, and they dropped that one by a score of 6-5. But home game, the first 4 games for the Knights are at home, and it's important to pick up points in each and every one of those games, and they certainly did pick up at least a point in that first game. So let's move on now to Saturday night. Back in Meaford again. The opponent this time was the Almaguin Spartans, and the Knights would turn the tables and come back and pull out a 3-2 shootout victory in that one. So let's hope this isn't a sign of things to come for the season when the first 2 games going to shootout. So makes for a long night. But in that one, Mathis Laguerre and Hayden Phillips again with his second goal of the season. Would score for Meaford in regulation, and the shootout hero in that one was Jordan DeGao. Hopefully, I've pronounced that correct. And so the Knights starting the season off fantastic. They've got points in those first 2 games. They picked up an overtime loss and overtime win for 3 points. Fantastic. And we should also take a second and welcome the new head coach of the Knights of Meaford, Patrick Drolet. Is the new head coach of the Knights of Meaford. He has a long history in the province of Quebec with working with younger players. And, welcome, Patrick, to Meaford, and wish you all the best this season. And hopefully get to meet you possibly next week. So, all right. So that was the first 2 games of the season. Now, let's take a look at the league standings, if we could, Mark. We'll take a look now at surprisingly leading the league this year early on in the season, but after 6 games, the West Nipissing Lynx, who are normally in the middle of the pack, over the years that I've been, working with the GMHL, but West Nipissing having a fantastic start, 6 games, 5 wins, 1 loss for 10 points. Uh, One of the teams is expected to be a powerhouse this year, sitting in second place with the Bradford Bulls. They're undefeated at 4-0. They should be really strong this year. Ville Marie, always strong, sitting at 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 overtime loss, 7 points. Surprise. Well, the Bradford Rattlers, they've only had 2 games, but they're undefeated in those 2 games. I think one of them was a 9-3 victory. So, they're able to put the puck in the net again, as always, sitting in number 6. And the Knights of Meaford are right behind them with 3 points, with, as we said, the one win the shootout win and the one shootout loss. Surprisingly, sitting at the bottom of the pack are the Malcolm Spartans, who have always been really competitive, having a slow start to their season. They haven't had a win yet. They've got no wins, 3 losses, two overtime losses for 2 points. But the New Tech Civic sitting in last at 0-5. Wow. Wow, that team, they've always been right near the top of the league, but sitting at 0-5, what a shocker. We'll see what happens there. Let's switch over now, Mark, to the South Division. And the South Division's always been known for its high scores and, that kind of thing. Durham sitting on top, undefeated at 5-0. Niagara sitting at 3-1 or sorry, 5-1 for 10 points. They're tied for top spot. I can't read my own writing. Another team surprising, St. George. St. George has been, I think they've won the Russell Cup, if not once, definitely once, if not a couple of times, but they've always been known. They're having a bit of a slow start. Five games, 2 wins, 3 losses for 4 points. And another surprise team sitting at the bottom of the league is Tottenham. Tottenham, again, another team that has always done well, sitting at 0-6 right now. So I'm sure that they're going to want to get things going. So let's now take a look, Mark, at the Knights' leading scorers, and it's only 2 games in, so not a huge amount of points so far. But sitting on top is Brendan Shidlowski with 3 assists, giving him 3 points on the season. Declan Flanagan with 2 assists. He has 2 points. Mathis Laguerre with 2 goals. He's got 2 goals in there. He's sitting there with 2, tied with Hayden Phillip. Hayden Phillip has 2 goals on the season in his first 2 games. And we've got 5 players tied with 1 point each, one of those being Mr. Xavier Kaze, who we will be speaking to shortly. And he's got his first goal of the season. Now we'll take a look at the league's leading scorers. And man, looking at this, I can only see. I think there's only 2 members of the North Division in there at this moment, and both of them come from Temiskaming. So you've got Gianfranco Comiso. Or sorry, no. Where am I going here? It's early in the season. First show, I get to make mistakes, right? Okay. Charles Sipihat from Temiskaming and David Fontaine, both playing for Temiskaming this year. They're in the top 10, but then the other 8 players are all coming from the South Division. With Windsor, I believe, has 3 players in there, and so again, the South has always been known for its sharpshooters over there. So, but again, early in the season, only 5 or 6 games in. So now let's take a look at upcoming games for the Knights of Meaford. As I said, they've only played 2 so far, but this coming Thursday night, October 21st, they'll be at home to who I say is probably their biggest rival in the league, the Bradford Rattlers. Will be in town for a 7:30 start down at the Meaford St. Vincent Community Center. Then on the 28th, which should be, hopefully, it's going to be the first night that Rogers TV, we will be there to tape that game against West Nipissing. West Nipissing sitting on top of the league right now, so that should be a great game. Then the Knights on the 30th have their first away game of the season, and it's just up the road for me in Gravenhurst, so maybe I'll pop up and catch that one against the South Muskoka Shield. They can get some revenge on them for that first loss of the season. Then in November, now November is an interesting month for the Knights. They've got 12 games in the month of November, with 7 of those being on the road. So they start off on November the 4th at home to Ville Marie, which should be again another great game. Ville Marie always has a great squad. Then they get to play West Nipissing again on the very next night. Excuse me, the very next night on the 5th in West Nipissing. Then on the 7th, so the 4th, 5th, and 7th, these boys are going to be busy. They'll be in Bradford to play the Rattlers. So, but again, as I said, 12 games in the month of November, with 7 of those being on the road. That makes for quite a schedule for the gentlemen. So again, early in the season, 2 games to report. But I just can't emphasize enough how excited, and I know everybody in Meaford is excited to have the Knights back. And I'm sure all the players are just as excited to finally get the skates back on and get back into that atmosphere and get playing the game that they love, is hockey. So without further ado, it's time for Meet the Knights. And my guests will be Xavier Kaze and Hayden Phillips. Okay. All right. Welcome. Sorry. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. And how excited are you to get back in playing hockey again?
Pretty excited, honestly. It felt good to put back the skates, get the season going. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be back in front of the fans as well.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting for you guys for sure. And let's talk about Xavier Kaze for a minute. Xavier, you have 1 season under your belt with the Knights. You played, in the season prior to the lockdown, and you're from the province of Quebec. In that first season, you played 40 of the 42 games. You had 8 goals and 8 assists, I think, as an 18-year-old. So you had 16 points. You had a pretty decent season for your first year in junior hockey.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a good start and pretty rough after Christmas, but it was awesome to start playing junior year in Meaford.
Yeah, so you obviously liked it enough that you took the year off and you came back to Meaford again. So it must have been a positive experience for you that first year.
Yeah, it was really amazing. The town is super nice. Rink, the team staff and everything. It really makes it fun to come here every year play hockey.
That's fantastic. And having a head coach from the province of Quebec in Patrick Drolet, how does that help at all, or?
Well, sometimes it helps because sometimes I'm looking for my words in English, so I can speak to him in French sometimes, like a couple of words, a sentence. He can correct me and get sure we understand each other pretty well. So that's nice.
That makes life so much easier, doesn't it? So
yeah.
Now you've scored. You got that monkey off your back. Let's say for the start of the season, you got that first goal. Is it fair to ask you? What do you see for yourself this year as far as point totals and production?
I've tried to put as much as I can in, help my team win some games, and play a good defense too, and put the puck up.
Okay, so let's go over to Hayden Phillip for a moment then. Hayden, you're from Stouffville, Ontario, a little closer to home. So Meaford not being that far away. You're 18 years old. Uh, let's talk about what you did. Well, I guess there wasn't hockey last season, but let's say the season before that, your the last couple of years playing hockey. Where did you play and all that stuff?
The last couple of years, I played Double A in Stouffville. So, and then one of those years, I also played for the York Simcoe Express, which was Triple A.
Right. And how has it been so far for you making the step up to junior? You've only had a couple of games in, but how do you find that experience so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Like the hockey's definitely a bit faster. You know, playing with older guys is definitely different. But yeah, it's been pretty good so far, I'd say.
And Stouffville, I guess Stouffville's not a huge town, but it's maybe a bit bigger than Meaford is. How's it been adjusting to the smaller town like Meaford?
Well, Stouffville used to be a bit smaller, so I guess you could say it's like somewhat similar, but no, it's definitely a bit of an adjustment coming to Meaford, and I'm loving the town so far. So
That's great. And having the first two games at home, I'm not sure with the COVID protocols just how many people were in the building, but I know that you're going to see some full barns there and you're really going to get a lot of good fan support. So, how's it been so far? Like, I know a lot of players in the past have talked about being well received on the streets, for example, in Meaford, and people seeing you out in public. How's that experience been so far?
it's been great, honestly. Like I can just tell the people are super supportive with their hockey here, and it's definitely it's a hockey town for sure.
Yeah, it's true. The small towns really love their hockey teams, and I know that as I said, a lot of players are very um, they just love the fact that people recognize them on the street, and and they always get that great support from the fans. So um, now let's go back to Xavier for a minute. Xavier, let's take a look at this year's team. How it may be really early, but how does it compare? Do you get a feel for it yet as compared to the team that you played on a couple of years ago?
I think we got a really good group of guys. We all go along together pretty good. If you count that we've only been here for like 2 weeks, uh, good bonding with the guys, and I think we have a chance to have a great season this year. So pretty excited to get that started yet.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the Meaford Knights. They've always been competitive. Well, maybe not back at the beginning. There was, but that was a number of years ago. But with general manager Nathan Parrish, and got to know Nathan. I can call him a friend over the last 4 or 5 years or whatever it is, and just the group of people that run the Knights of Meaford, right from owner Sabine Cholet. In my estimation, they really go all out to make it a great experience for the players.
Yeah. Then it feels like a family when you're here. All the guys, we're all the way from home, so we all pick up each other. So pretty amazing.
All right, so the first four games are going to be at home, and I'll ask you both this question, and that'll get you still need to get out on the road, and November is going to be a great month for, let's say, traveling on the bus and getting that camaraderie or that those friendships going when you're traveling on a team bus in November. Do you feel the same way about those road trips?
Yeah, pretty much. It's gonna be good to be on the road, get all the guys together, and fill the ice on the other rinks and get some other wins there.
And Xavier, I could ask you the same question. How do you feel about those road trips?
Oh,
Yeah,
Or I'm sorry, Hayden. Yeah.
yeah, no, for sure. Like it looks like we got a busy away schedule in November, so definitely some bonding will be going on in the team bus. So those will be fun.
All right. So, all right, guys. Yeah, I really don't know what else to ask you at this point. So, sorry. All right. And okay, guys, I want to thank you very much. First show out a little rough here, but I'll get it going again. So, hey, I've been off for 18 months too, right? Maybe a little bit longer. So, but anyways, so nice, so great of you to come on the show today. Hope to see you on the 28th when Rogers is there to tape the game. Xavier Kaza and Hayden Phillip, guys, all the best this coming season. And again, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having us.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this, the inaugural episode of Night Talk on the Rogers YouTube channel. I want to thank producer Mark Perry for putting this all together. And again, Xavier Kaza and Hayden Phillip, thank you very much, guys, for being here. And we'll see you next time on Night Talk.